Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you guys are all doing well. It is today, it is February 11th of 2025, and let's call this the first video on my new channel. So I've had another YouTube channel for apparently 7+ years, about 7.5 years. Jessica Wrap, 2 Silver Oranges. So I've sort of wound down the junk journal making phase of my life and have decided that I'm just going to continue on this path that I've actually been on for quite a while. I have always loved coloring and painting and, you know, creating all things with color and, you know, crocheting, dyeing fabric, dyeing yarn, you know, quilling, paper quilling. I've even sort of gotten an interest in diamond painting and, you know, so whatever it is that I'm doing, I have a tendency to just go at it like hardcore. So in the past, well, okay, so this, I just want to sort of start off with my like coloring, adult quote unquote coloring slash watercolor kind of journey that has led me to this point. So probably 15 years ago, I found myself single, as a single mom with 5 sons, and had not really had to work full time up until that point. So at that point, I stumbled upon this great job that was a great job for me, working in a call center. I used to work for Sears in their marketing department. And so I used to call people and ask them if they wanted to buy protection agreements on their appliances and electronics and that kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, we all have our opinions about that. But, you know, when you work in a call center, you find yourself just sitting at a desk staring at nothing for a long time. So I started coloring back then. And this was, like I said, 15 years ago. And there really weren't many options for adult coloring, you know, pages or books or anything like that. So I kind of had to come up with a lot of things on my own. And I mean, I did have a couple of coloring books. They were very obscure, and I still have them. And I'll show you, if anybody would like to see my coloring book collection at some point, I'd be more than happy to show them to you. But you can see I got into Zentangling at one point. So this is actually sort of my Zentangle notebook that I put together a long time ago. But I'm just going to show you a couple things that were sort of early things that I had found to color. And a lot of this stuff came out of Dover design books that were all copyright-free images, you know. And that's the thing about Dover books that was really cool, was that you could photocopy them. You could scan them and print things out and color them. So I sort of got obsessed with finding things that I could color. Like this right here was even just this was a dingbat font that I downloaded and used, you know, through your keyboard on your computer, and, you know, increase the font size to like 300, and then I got these cool little stars that I could color. I never colored those, but things like that. I started doing mandalas that I could color, watercolor things that I could then take to work and do this sort of neurographic, doodly kind of stuff on at work. So I would make these bases at home, and then I would take these to work and color them, and, you know, doodle on them. Sometimes, you know, with gel pens, found some cool gel pens, you know, and just did a lot of that kind of stuff. This was another coloring book that I had found. It's actually an artist named the name of the coloring book is Mario Mandala, but that's not the artist's name. But yeah, there's another one of those. So there was a Dover book that was all paisley designs, and so I colored a lot of those. A lot of that stuff I just don't have anymore, but I do have it on CDs, the scans. So anyway, did some coloring, and I've always loved it, you know. So then, I think I worked at Sears for about 5 years, and then went back to school for a little while, and then I went back to work at another call center for Comcast. And same thing, I started getting into coloring again, and had started watching YouTube channels like Dee Dee Willingham and other people. I can't remember the names of a lot of these channels off the top of my head, but they started getting me more excited about more professional sort of like materials, like Prismacolor pencils and the Neocolor 2s and stuff like that. So I started sort of collecting that stuff. As I was making more money, I was spending more money on art supplies, and really all I did was use them in my coloring books. And then I discovered Hanna Karlzon, and I just was like, oh, this is my girl, you know. Oh, well, before Hanna Karlzon, at the art supply store that I go to here in Spokane, Spokane Art Supply, they had this series of coloring books, and these were, I mean, let me see if I can find the copyright date. 1996 is when this was first published. And the artist's name is Sue Coccia, Coccia, and at earthartinternational.com. And so she does these animals that are all very kind of doodly, and with all of these really cool images sort of built into the designs. And I've actually repurchased these. So here's one that I colored actually just recently. And in case you can't tell by the name of the channel, All the Colors of Jess means I really do love all the colors. So I'm one of those people that if I could find more colors, like I want to find a new color that has never been seen, you know. So anyway, so this is one of her designs that I colored recently, and so I had purchased these coloring books a long time ago back then, and then I repurchased them just a couple months ago off of their website. It's like at a, I'll see if I can find it. If anybody is interested in seeing what else she has, she's done, I think, 10 different coloring books, and this one is Cascadia Creatures or Critters. I've colored that page before. Anyway, so if anybody's interested in purchasing some of these, they are available on their website. It's not her website. It's actually like some kind of like a gift market. I think it's on a reservation in Montana. Honestly, that's what I think it is. Anyway, so I loved hers. I liked the little details and that kind of thing. Anywho, so then I discovered Hanna Karlzon, and 2016. Yeah, and I think this is her first book. So I took all my fancy art supplies and my gel pens and went to work every day, and I just colored, and I wound up with this is an old image. So this is I'll show you some things that are, I'll try to point out what I colored back then and what I've colored recently. I've decided that I think I'm going to try to complete this book. This is new. I've done this recent. This is old and new. So this was an old WIP that I just finished a few days ago. Since, like I said, I decided I want to finish this book, that means I have to complete all the WIPs I have in this book. This one I think is done, but I might do like a pastel background. I don't know. And I'm one of those people that will come back to WIPs that I've started. I always try to at least leave some kind of note about what the last thing was that I was using, but sometimes I don't, and it doesn't really matter. So yeah, there's a ton of WIPs in here, tons of them. This is an old one, and a lot of times I'll go over what I did already if I don't like it. Like, I don't really like the color of these flowers, so I'll probably go over it with something else, maybe some acrylic marker or something like that. This peacock I actually did way back then, but I had never done the background because I didn't know what I wanted to use on it. And I wound up actually using some black Noodler's ink. And this is the, I think this is like their, oh, this is Catfish. This is the, and this is a bulletproof, waterproof black ink. It's really nice because it's matte and it's waterproof. I did fix this. I sprayed this with a fixative, but yeah, so I just did the background in it, and I had originally colored it 10 years ago. So anyway, let's see. Colored this a long time ago, but I had never done the little dots. So I recently added just the little gold dots with a super golden marker, you know. And just FYI, oh, that's a bright page, huh? Just an FYI, this is experimental. I'm filming this with my phone, which is not an iPhone, and it has taken, it's taken some stubbornness on my behalf in order to get this to work. So I'm really hoping that it looks okay. The only thing that I'm having a hard time figuring out how to do is to zoom in while I'm filming. So I have my phone linked to my computer so that I can actually see my phone screen on my computer, and so I can operate the camera just using my mouse, and I don't have to even touch my phone. But I can't find any way to zoom in while I'm filming, so I don't know if that's going to ever be an option. But I used to use my webcam to film, and I could do that on that, but it was horrible picture quality, and the lighting was always a problem. And so my phone seems to be pretty smart to figure out lighting situations at any time of day and correct for, you know, bad lighting conditions. So anyways, I hope this works out okay. And I'm just dabbling in video editing, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, this is a new page, all the way around, new. Oh, that's terrible. So this, I really struggle with faces. I really do. So this was back then, this was back in the day, and I think I was following somebody else's, you know, rendition of this image and trying to just, you know, copy what they had done. And I just still don't like it. But I love Hanna Karlzon's books, so I'm really trying, that's one of my goals, is to get over that and figure out coloring people. So here's a little whip. So there's not much in this one. So this one, I think I will finish it one day. And my goal was to do it with gel pens. This one is Prismacolor pencils. I like the foliage and the berries. This one's basically done, but I need to add a background to it. So Nice thing about colored pencil is that once you finish a page and you want to go back in and add a pastel background, like with soft pastels, you can do that, and the pastel won't really stick to the wax of the pencil, so that's nice. Anyway, this is an old one, and I went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on the stars in the background. But yeah, crazy, huh? I've decided what I'm going to do with this double page spread. I was doing okay with blending with pencils. This is all Prismacolor, I think. Might be Polychromos, though. I think it might be Polychromos. Anyway, I was hating it once I got to the sky. But now I have some plans how I think I might be able to fix it. Just playing around with some flowers with different pencils. So yeah, that's all gel pens. This page is nuts. I kind of get creeped out when I see things growing out of animals and out of people's faces and that kind of stuff. But I'm learning to get over it. I really like how this door came out. This is old. Pretty much everything is old in this book. And then there really isn't much in here, except I have this whip that I'm working on with watercolor pencil. So I did buy the Albert Dürer ones because I'm easily influenced. So I bought those a few years ago. And then this one I've actually kind of gotten excited about. This is City Among the Stars. And I did this family using some watercolors that I added liquid graphite to. And I really like how it, except for not her clothes, but I really like the way it kind of tones down the brightness on watercolors, on colors, and it's very similar to the graphitin pencils and some of the graphite like watercolor. So it's just kind of cool to be able to add that little bit of graphite to watercolor and get a different sort of effect, you know, different look. And then I did this double page. It's all about colors, you know. I'm really not one for like color schemes, but I'm working on it. Anyway, let's see. Oh, last one. So I actually have 2 copies of Daydreams because I had messed up that one face in that other book. So I thought, well, now I have to buy a new book. But really, I don't have to. Actually, this is the one that I'm going to finish cover to cover. Yeah, this is the one. Because I have a lot more finished in it, I think. I can't remember. I might wind up combining them together. Because I love the peacock in the other one. But I could always color the peacock again. I mean, who says I can't color the peacock again? Right? So, yeah. Anyway, this is... I know, it's super bright. It's super crazy. And, you know, if you don't like something, just cover it with acrylic paint. And move on. You know, move forward. So, I always take a piece of paper and fold over the top edge so that it just kind of hooks on the page. So I can just kind of leave it in there. This is all covered with watercolor. And then I'm painting the corals with metallic watercolors. Pretty, huh? It looks crazy right now, but I think it'll be okay when it's finished. And then this was just all acrylic paint. And I learned how to draw bubbles one day, so I went in and did a bunch of bubbles on there. And bubbles on here. Anyway, so there's that. Let me just show you. I have some smaller books that I've done. This is new. I just got this a few days ago. So I thought, okay, I'm sure many of you have seen this book. Nishimura, Noriko, and Yuki. This is the postcard companion book to a larger coloring book. But I'm telling you, this thing... So I picked out one of the most difficult like images to try in here. So you get the one that they did up here, and then you get the one at the bottom. So I tried to do this little guy, copying this one, And I'm telling you, I was literally cross-eyed. I need a magnifying glass in order to color that. I did it, and it looks okay, but that's the only thing I've done in there. And then I've also decided to do Small Victories, cover to cover. And, yeah, so this one, I've gone through it, and I sort of divided up all the pages that had, you know, have like the separate little images so that I could sort of treat them each separately. It just, in my brain, it just makes more sense if I add some lines and kind of actually divide them, you know? Anyway, let me show you one that I did that is recent that I really had fun with. So doing, you know, like I just took I don't remember what it was. Oh, I think I just punched out a circle of cardstock and just used that to, or no, I used one of my little circle stencils and went around each of these little images, drew a little circle around it, some of them are smaller, and then did the background with acrylic markers. And then watercolored each one with a flat color, and then went back with colored pencils and colored the little images. So anyway, so yeah, so I think I'm going to try to do this one cover to cover also. I love the cupcake page. I'm doing that with metallic watercolors and acrylic paint pens and gel pens and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so there's a bunch of stuff in there. I wanted to show you guys this old, so these Good Wives and Warriors books, they put out some really cool coloring books. I've got all 4 of these, the small ones, this format. Excuse me. They have a lot of other books though. I think I have 2 other ones that they've done. Anyway, but I've only done 1 image in all of these books. In all 4 of these books. My granddaughter did 1. My granddaughter did this one. But I did the Emerald City. And I started it back then, years ago. And I had pretty much done this half. And then came back and I finished this half just about a week ago. So you can see it's pretty bright. I don't really like the background, so I might still make some changes in the background, but I haven't sprayed it yet. I usually spray pages with a fixative, just so I don't worry about it. What else? Done a couple pages in Romantic Country. I didn't love this book, so I really haven't. I've just had a hard time deciding whether or not I want to pull the trigger on any of her other books. There's a couple of her newer ones that I think I might like, but this one I started with watercolor pencil. This one I was just doing with, I think, Prismacolor. I did figure out what color pencil it was that I was using. And then there's this one. I don't know what that is. I think it's watercolor pencil and then pencil on top. Oh, there's one that I basically finished. So this is the only one that I really finished in this book. So I restrained myself. Like I, you know, really, I know it's pretty colorful, but I tried to keep it under control. This guy, so I've seen a couple other people show this book as like part of their collection or in a haul or something, and I've seen that other people's books have done this, where it just broke right down the center. As soon as you like tried to like crack the spine a little bit, you know, it just like snapped. Let me know if that happened to you, if you have this book, and if your book snapped in half like that when you opened it. I've never had that happen before. So anyway, I've only done, so I even tried to fix it because I bind books. Like I know how to do perfect binding and all kinds of stuff. And I tried to perfect bind it, and it just snapped in half again. Anyway, I've done one image in here. Oh, it's in the back. Yeah, this one. See, like most of the spine is fine. It's just that one section right down the middle that's not good. Anyway, so I did this one. This is the original, and then I did this part here. So, anyway. So that one. And then I haven't done a lot in Kirby books. It's really funny because I watched Karen, Colorful Country Life, and it was really funny because this was the first page that I think, pretty sure, she said this was the very first double page spread or page that she ever did in a Kirby book. And it's the same thing for me. Like, this is the very first one. And mine still isn't finished. But anyway, I don't think I think I've only finished one other Kirby page. And it's not because I am afraid or intimidated or anything like that. It's just, I don't really know what it is, but... Oh, okay, so I did this elephant with, I think, mostly Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils. And then I'm working on this page here. So, yeah, with, again, watercolor pencil. So, oh, I did this one, actually, after the shoes. I decided I wanted to see how I could do something floral, but I hate the paint that I used on the frogs, so. But I'll fix it. I'll cover it up and fix it one day. Anyway, so I don't have a whole bunch of Kirby pages done. This is another book that I bought back when I worked for Sears. Jess Meharry, Free Spirit. And I used to stop. Actually, no, it wasn't Sears. It was when I was working at Comcast, I think. Because there was a Barnes & Noble pretty close to there. And so I used to, like, go over there on my lunch hour sometimes. But sometimes I'd go to work early and I'd stop at Barnes & Noble and look at coloring books before I went in. Anyway, this one I actually bought at Barnes & Noble in the store. And, so she's like this hippie chick that does these really... kind of cool, sort of loose, like sketchy drawings of animals and nature and stuff. And she's pretty wordy. Like she adds a lot of words and little like positive affirmations and things like that. And I was trying to loosen up, and I was trying to get more into like, you know, kind of more of like a mixed media type of vibe in my coloring. And so I thought this would really help with that. But I didn't wind up doing a whole lot in it. That one. See, I always have a tendency to sort of rein things in and get tight again, and that's a struggle for me. Anyway, this is a cool coloring book. I don't know if it's still available. I don't know where you can get it. If anybody really is interested in it, there's the ISBN number for it. If you want to, if you want to pause and screenshot it. See, there she is with her dog. So, so there's that one. And then this is another one that I bought at Barnes & Noble. It's apparently published by Moleskine. But Carlos Stanga, The Wandering City. And I haven't really colored much of anything in here. A couple things like this I started. And then, I don't know, I just had a hard time wrapping my brain around the imagery. It's sort of like The Wandering City and stuff. Anyway, I found these 2 pages of these faces. And I like coloring these little faces because it sort of gives me like little bit of practice in how to shade faces. And these have been in my stash, guys, for so long. Like, when I was going through my coloring books a few months ago, I found this, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember those little faces. And so they're just really fun. They're not all humans. Some of them are like robots, and there's a frog and an octopus. But, yeah, and then here's another like double page spread of just faces. So I have this marked so that I can come in here when I just have like, when I don't really know what I want to do, but I want to do something with color, and so I can work on those little faces. So I have 2 Maria Trolle books. I've got, I can't remember the other one that I have. I had initially, when I first saw her coloring books, I actually bought like as many as I could find. And then I realized that I don't think I can work in these. Like at the time, like I just really, I don't know. I just didn't think that they were for me, so I returned them. I kept one, which I can't remember which one it is. Anyway, but then I saw this one, and then the other one that's Sagan, and I actually ordered that from iMusic, so that one's on the way. But it's the, what is it, the Dutch version? Anyway, so that's on the way, and I'm really excited to see it because I've seen flip-throughs of it. But it's not out in the US yet. So anyway, but I really like the style in this book. And I've since gone back and watched some other like flip-throughs of her other books, the ones that I returned. And now I'm thinking I'm going to go repurchase some of them. Especially Luna, and I like the Universe one because it's got a little bit of everything, right? But anyway, this is one of my favorites that I've done of hers. I don't really like the butterfly though. It needs to pop. Like, I think if I just outlined it with like silver or something, I think it would work, but it sort of gets lost. Anyway, so yeah, so that one, Shooting Star. I've done 1 page in Fairy Tales and Folklore, and I'm okay with it, except for I messed up right here because I touched it before the gel pen had dried, and so yeah, so that got screwed up, but it's not terrible. It's kind of fun. I want to do this in a more like flat coloring kind of style, and sort of folk arty, because I really like folk art, and I like the sort of style of folk art. I have this other book that is all Imagine a Forest. In case any of you might have seen this book, but this one's kind of cool because she gives like all these design ideas for, you know, it's like her style of, you know, folk art designs, but, you know, so if you want to draw them yourself. So anyway, but this kind of reminded me of that. Anyway, so that's the only page I've done in here. And then there's the, oh lordy, there's the Johanna Basford saga. I don't think I want to go through all these. There's just it'll just take forever. Anyway, I don't really have that many finished pages of Johanna Basford. Mostly I have whips, you know, because I did work in these a lot when I was at work, and this one's, I'm doing it all with glaze pens, but there's one that I finished, and I keep going back and forth on whether it needs a background, you know, but yeah, so since I was working on these primarily when I was at work, I never really had enough time to finish a page. That's one finished in Lost Ocean. I think everybody has done that page. Everybody who has Lost Ocean has at least done that page. And then I started on this one. And see, I said that I was working with peacock blue in the water, just so I know, you know. Yeah, so I did that little jellyfish, pencils, did the background there, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I just never really had time to like finish a page at work, you know. And then, see, like, even this one's not finished. I'm going to do the details in a black Jelly Roll glaze. And, yeah, just have never finished it. But, you know, the book's not going anywhere. And if I die before I finish all of these pages, then, hey, I had a good run, you know. See, I have my colors written down that I was using in this background. But I have some ideas about how to fix pencil backgrounds that you're just not happy with the way they're blending. So, yeah, maybe that's something we'll do together. This one I was just doing all crazy colors in the tree. So, oh, I guess I finished that guy. But yeah, working on that butterfly. So, you know what I'm saying, though? I just never really finished a lot of these pages. This one. Yeah. And then, of course, I have the artist edition of as many of these as I could find, and the postcard books and all that stuff, you know, and just never really... None of it ever really came to fruition. But, oh, and then I had the Hanna Karlzon postcard books, too. Which, hardly any of those are even intact anymore. I've taken them apart. And I think this is the only page that I've really finished in this book. Yeah. Anyway. This one I really like. All the kind of crazy colors. So. And I have the Christmas book. I've done some stuff in the Christmas book. And then as far as like newer coloring books, this one's brand new. I just got this a couple days ago. The Ken Matsuda. And I've been watching Spare Room Studio. Super inspired by her, and I love what she does with watercolor. Or even just water-based markers and stuff on in her coloring books. And so she just inspired me to do this one. This is just the title page. So, yeah. Pretty fun. And I went on his Instagram and actually saved links to as many of these images as I could find, because there's links in the back of the book with QR codes to most of the images that are in the book, so that I can pull them up while I'm coloring. And, you know, some people like that, so where you can see the original artwork and then you can, like, try to copy it. Or what I think is kind of a cool thing to do, instead of trying to copy the image, do the opposite color scheme to whatever that was that the artist used. And that's a really fun thing to do if you're trying to get your head around color theory. So it's nice, it's fun to flip the color. So like if something is done in purples and blues, do it in reds and oranges and see how it works, you know, and keep the same tones and tints and shades and all that. So anyway, but that's the only one I've done in there. And then I've done one Melpomene image, and I tore it out of the book because they started ripping out anyways. But I messed it all up when I don't know what I did, but somehow I got this, I smudged something. So I sort of messed it up. Anyway, I did these beta fish. So it's the only thing I've done of hers. And I think I'm going to pick up a couple of her other books that I like. I think she only has like 2 other ones. But yeah. So that's my coloring book, coloring journey. And I've got all kinds of other maybe next time I'll do just a little, I have a whole bunch. Oh, here's a Johanna Basford page. So I don't know if this came from World of Flowers or what book that came out. I think it might have been Rooms of Wonder. But anyway, I bought Rooms of Wonder right when it first came out. Excuse me. And the copy I got, the print was all off on it. Like there was this weird printing at the bottom that was actually like guidelines or something from the printers. And so I tried to return it to Amazon and I said that it was defective, so they told me to just keep it and refunded me. And I don't think I ever got the book again. Well, I just bought the book again and I was looking through it and I was like, I swear I have this, because I had taken the book apart. I had deconstructed it and trimmed off those weird lines that were on it. So I have that whole book, but they're all in loose pages. See how this one is like cut off at the top? Anyway, so I still have the images. I figured I might as well just keep them and color them. Anyway, so this is just a bunch of other stuff that I've done. And I can go through this box with you guys sometime if you want. This doesn't really fit in there. Yeah. I like coloring, even if it's images that I create myself. So this is one of those things. And I really like sacred geometry and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I just want to do a quick little sort of like my coloring pages video and introduce myself, do something a little chatty, and you know, see how it goes. We're almost at what, 42 minutes. So I'll sign off, see if I can get this to upload. And yeah, so if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my new channel and give this video a thumbs up. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but that's just sort of how I am. I will do some shorter videos and some tutorial-ish types of things and that kind of stuff, and who knows what else we'll do. But as long as it's colorful, I'm happy to share it with you guys. Okay? All right. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye for now.